This is the first time I ever opened up to anybody. I've kept it bottled up for 20-some years. It's rough. I just wish I could talk about it, hit a light switch, and be done with it. But it's just, that's the light switch don't turn off. There's no explaining how much hate I got for that man. I was 8 years old last when I woke my dad up with a snub nose 357. Hammer pulled back, loaded, and he talked me out of it. You know, he talked the gun away from me. I wish I would have pulled that trigger when I was 8 years old. If I would have pulled that trigger when I was 8 years old, none of this would ever happened.
Deputies searched for a body in what they believed was a swampy grave.
I blame myself. Can't stand that bastard. I grew up in a pretty large family. It was 12 of us, 7 boys, 5 girls. I'm the middle child, smack dab in the middle. My father was an ordained minister. And anybody and everybody that wanted a wedding in a community would come to my father. He would marry couples out front in the house. My mom would cook the food, and we're all dressed up, standing out there, you know, while he's performing the service.
Ron, it's a beautiful day for a wedding. God has blessed you.
Thank you.
My father would stand out there when he was performing the weddings, just like any other minister. He'd have his white collar on, read a couple quotes out of the Bible. He was real religious and real polite. Everybody adored him, loved him.
You may kiss the bride.
I remember when this photo was taken. Photos, it was, you know, there was no smiles. If I could go back in time, I would tell myself, you know, run. One night, we all went to bed. We had school the following morning. I woke up, I heard a noise on our roof. And me and my brother Matthew looked out the window. And there was this beast. It was all in black and tapping on the windows. It was one of the most scariest moments of my life. Woke up my mom and told her, you know, the devil's outside. He's trying to come in our window, trying to get us.
The window! What? A monster! Okay, I'll look.
We pointed out the window, and when we looked at the window, it was gone.
What's this?
The boys thought they saw something out the window.
My father came in. He told us it was Satan that was trying to get in the house.
That was the devil trying to get in here. He's coming for both of you.
But my father told us, you know, as long as we follow what he says and do what he does, that's not going to harm us. We have not a worry in the world as long as we follow what my father tells us to do.
You disobey me, then the devil has every right to come in here and get you.
So me as a kid, I want this creature to come down out of the sky and snatch me so I can do what my father asked me to do. It came out years later that it was our father looking in the window. My father dabbled in Everybody goes to church on Sunday, and when you go to church, when you go to Sunday schools, he was his own church. One day we were all out in the yard. He walked us over to the rock garden, and there was a statue of Jesus in there. Had his hands out like this. My father had a hatchet, and he swung down at it. My father busted the hands off of Jesus. Told us that, God's not going to help you. My father told us, all of us kids, that he was the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning and the end.
I am the only God you will ever know. Now, if you pray to me from now on.
He had all these powers. God speaks through him.
Fear me.
And everything he said, everything my father told me, I believed. He was a role model. I loved my father. After that incident, everything started getting darker. It was like a whole other world. That's when things started getting crazy in the house. My father had us all gather in a dining room. There's candles and stuff around, and a pentagram on the table. I see my father coming down the hallway. He had a black cape on. I'm wondering why he's got this cape on.
Grab each other's hands.
He's reading out this black book, and we're all holding hands in the dining room when he's doing this.
Let my knowledge be my path into the darkness. Sacrifice of bone and blood.
And something was on the table. Whatever. Me being a kid, I really didn't understand what was going on, but when he pulled the piece of material, just the shock of fear went through me. He had our family cat, Misty, was right in the center of the pentagram, and Misty was dead. My father held the cat up and slit its throat and drained its blood into this. It was a chalice, and he passed the chalice around to each of us and had us drink the blood.
Blood for blood.
My heart's racing. It feels like I'm gonna get sick. But everything my father said, we pleased him. He turned the lights back on, he threw the cat away, blew all the candles out, and we went on after that like nothing ever happened. He told us never talk about it, never speak of it.
Not a word of this will sleep from this house, or a sickening punishment will happen.
Dad, I'm sorry. I'm just asking you about the...
Shut up!
Just snatches her by the back of her head, slams the door, and then all I heard was her screaming and crying, and it was a full-blown beating. When I was younger, my father had rules in the house.
Now this is a house of order. When I tell you something, tattoo it on your heart so you don't forget. Understand? You understand?
We couldn't bring friends over to the house. Don't leave the property. Don't talk about what's going on in the house. He didn't allow us to talk to nobody in school.
You go to school and you come home. No delays.
And my father gave all of his boys a quarter. And he told me, if you catch your sisters talking to anybody, I want you to call me. That was my father's biggest worry. If the girls are talking to somebody, they're talking about what's going on in the house.
This home is sacred, and everything that happens in it is sacred.
We're like my father's eyes when he wasn't watching them. There was always one of us in our classes, one of us passing them in the hallway. One day I saw my sister talking to her teacher, and it was outside of class. I called my father and I told him Sherry was talking to the teacher. And when we got home...
Dad, I'm sorry. I was just asking about my work.
Shut your mouth. Get up there. I told you never to talk to anyone.
He snatches her up, throws her down the hallway, takes her into his bedroom, slams the door. Then all I heard was her screaming and crying, and I could hear him yelling. It was a full-blown beating. I felt bad. You know, it was my sister in there. We're supposed to protect him. I thought to myself, why'd I call? You know, why didn't I just let it go? I did it out of fear. If I didn't tell my father that they're talking to other people in school, then it's going to be me in that bedroom. I didn't want that. In my household, it was survival of the fittest.
I can't believe he fell. He got all over his face.
Me and my brother Willie were walking down the basement. I mean, that was our hangout. And I heard my sister. We're trying to be quiet. And I looked down, see my father having sex with Pixie. I seen it with my own eyes. Went back upstairs, and then he came upstairs, and he was fixing his pants.
Hi, boys.
And then my sister came up a little while afterwards. From that day forth, my father was constantly having sex with her. There was a lot of incest going on in that house. You know, he's done it to me, and I didn't think it was abnormal, you know, seeing it done to my sister. You know, he'd take us in there and have us perform certain things. How can a man do that to his child? Every time I got abused, I didn't want to live anymore. I prayed to God every day that he'd just take my life. I don't want to live. As long as I can remember, we always had little dances, you know, listening to the 50s and the 60s music. All of us kids in the living room. My mom loved dancing. She loved dancing. There was no drama. There was no beatings. It was like we're in a whole different world. And then just one night, everything's going good. We're having fun. And then Pixie came downstairs. She comes walking in the living room. She has a wedding veil on. And, my father announces, you know, that he was going to marry Pixie. She's a young girl. She's 17 years old.
Family, I'm so happy to tell you that I'm marrying Pixie.
It was so quiet you could hear a church mouse fart.
We are gathered here to join in marriage.
My father performed a marriage ceremony, and she's holding his hands, and he's holding her hands. And he says the whole wedding spiel, you know, the vows, and had her say some vows.
I vow I will honor and cherish you for all of my life.
My mom was beside herself when they did that. She couldn't look at none of us. She just kept looking at the carpet. She really couldn't step in. If she stepped in, she would just get beat. She was a victim as much as we was. I was so damn confused. It was crazy. I didn't know what to think. I was just a young, ignorant kid.
I will serve you for the rest of my days.
By my powers, we are consecrated in marriage.
But Pixie, she was happy. The most happiest time in her life. She was in love with my father. father. And it's after he, said the vows and everything and put the ring on her finger. He's got the biggest smile on his face. It makes me feel sick. How could a man marry his daughters? Some twisted individual. Sick. My father told everybody in the family that Pixie was pregnant by a man that was in the service. And the next thing I know, she's in the hospital having a baby. Then, maybe a year down the line, she was pregnant again. That time it was a guy from school. But we all know where the kids came from. They were our father's kids. And then the following summer, she's pregnant again. And that's when it got serious. The police came over. We watched them walk through the yard. And my stomach drops. It's gonna get bad. It's gonna get real bad. That's Joel. She met him in high school. Joel was a good guy. He was a real good guy. I wish Joel and I would have met my sister. If I could reverse time and I could talk to Joel, I would tell Joel to leave. One day I saw my sister pull up and it was her and a guy, and I thought it was kind of odd because no one's allowed at the house.
What's going on?
Hi, Charlie.
And one day I hoped to marry her, and it kind of caught me off guard. I don't know why. Joel thought it was his kid.
Dixie, Dad's not...
Dad and Joel are great.
Just want to be a part of this family. Yeah.
I think Joel was another scheme to cover up my dad having another child with my sister, Pixie.
Good to see you.
She had her first kid, it was like 11th grade, and then she was pregnant again in her senior year. School started asking questions, and my father told them the same stories he's telling us. He didn't want the truth to get out. One day, me and my brother cut a bicycle tire in half, and we nailed it on each side of my windowsill, and I took a battery and put it in a slingshot, pulled back, and I let it go, and it slung across the fence and hit my neighbor and knocked him down.
Oh man, he's really hurt. What? Yeah.
And the paramedic showed up. The police came over, we watched him walk through the yard, and my stomach drops. I don't know how my dad talked him out not arresting me. But then after the police officer left, it was hell to pay.
I told you never to draw attention to our family. You think having the cops show up is some kind of joking matter? You aren't ever gonna forget this again.
Then he threw us in a closet like we were luggage. And there was a spray coming up under the door, and it was Raid. And it started coming into the door, and it started getting hard to breathe. We're in there for hours, it seemed like days. That was one of the most scariest moments of my life. I thought I was going to die in there. And I don't know if the bug spray or, put me to sleep or if I just went to sleep. But we're in there for one complete night. We started talking talking about the government's going to come over here, and we're going to have to fight for our land, protect our family.
Take a weapon.
He started training us how to fight, train us how to kill people, take a man's life with one blow, shooting guns. We became pretty good with the guns. Too good. I thought my mission was protect my family, and everybody else is just everybody else. You know, if they came along, I don't care who it was. You know, you come along with a badge and you're coming after my family, you're a dead man. What happened was my sister, Michelle, talked to social services in school.
Mr. Sexton, my name is Diane. I'm from Child Protective Services.
Told them what was going on, you know, what our father was doing to us. That's when they ordered my father out of the house.
No, you have a mistake.
Well,
I'm not going anywhere.
we have the police here that's going to escort you out.
You're gonna have to go.
They escorted him off the property and told him he was no longer out on the property.
After you come on.
He was coming over at the house against their rules.
Yeah. That's it. I'm sick of this.
I remember like it was yesterday. He said, I'm done. I'm not going anywhere. I'm tired of them. They're not taking your kids off me anymore. And he ordered me and my brothers to barricade the house.
Go out back and get some wood. I'm gonna block up all these windows. Go, now!
He had us board up all the lower windows in the house. And then he made the phone call to the Jackson Police Department. And he's cussing at them, calling them everything in a book. Telling them, you know, he's not leaving his property.
You come and try to take me out of here, I will leave a trail of bodies from where I am back to my family.
The Jackson Police Department, they evacuated the whole street, had everything blocked off. The instructions my father gave me was 1 shot, 1 kill. Anything moves outside, anything comes close to the house, shoot it. The Jackson Police Department, they evacuated the whole street, had everything blocked off.
Charles, they make a move towards the house.
Remotely gets on the property, shoot to kill. Got to see things move outside. It's police officers trying to sneak up on us. Standoff lasted for 2 days, and we were scared. And then he gets a phone call from one of the deputies.
Yes.
And then that's when the deputy showed up at the house. My father told me if he dips his head, pull the trigger and take out the deputy. And if he would have dipped his head, I would have took that deputy's life. But the deputy talked my dad down, like had him come outside and surrender. And that was the biggest sigh of relief, like a movie, a happy ending. It was like a whole different life. We were free. And after my father got bonded out, he returned back to the house. And he told us the FBI is looking for him. And then he starts talking about, you know, the war. No one's going to split his family up.
Very good.
We took those weapons and loaded everything up in the motorhome, and everything just went downhill. We're in the campground. The baby was crying, and it irritated my dad. And he told Pixie, shut the baby up or I'm gonna come back there and shut it up. And she put her hand over its mouth, over Skipper's mouth. And Skipper shut up.
What's going on?
I hear a big scream, and she's screaming over the baby, over Skipper, and Skipper's all blue.
You see? He's gone.
And I look at Skipper, and my dad told me that he was gone. There's no help for him.
Put him in that.
No!
Do it.
So my sister put his pacifier in. Wow. Give me a second. Mr. Pixie put a pacifier in Skipper's mouth and put a rattle in his hand. And my dad ordered me and my brother Willie to bury him. So we took the baby back in the woods. And we dug a hole. And we put Skipper in the ground. Oh, I can't do it. That's what Skipper was buried in. Yeah, I recognize it all. Yeah, it's embedded in my memory. It's everything that baby wore when I put him into the ground. This child was real innocent. He was brought into just a crazy, evil family. I mean, there's no words. It's just sick, twisted. I don't even want to really look at it. I don't want their memories. Joel was beside himself.
Joel, calm down. It's okay.
How can I be calm? This is my child. I'm not letting you bury him in the dirt in some bag.
He wanted to go dig the baby back up and drop him off at the police station.
They'll be able to help us.
No, the police can't help.
Joel thought Skipper was his son, but he wasn't. He was my father's. My father. He's mad. He's trying to come up with something else just to shut Joel up.
Charles!
Willie.
So he says, I got a plan. And we're all wondering what's his plan. He's going to replace Skipper. My dad told me that he had a plan, to get another baby. He took me and Willie to Ohio, but I still didn't know what was going on. And then he stops right in front of my brother's house. My father performed a marriage for my brother Eddie. Eddie and his wife left years ago. My father told me to knock on the door. Eddie's going to answer it and you're going to shoot him. And you're going to take his baby. His youngest son.
When I tell you to do something, you do it. Give me a hand, boy.
He wanted me to take my brother's life and take his youngest son to replace Skipper. And I knock on the door. I'm scared, hands sweating, heart's about to come out my chest. Thank God he didn't answer the door. If my brother would have answered, I would have put a hole in him. I would have took my brother's life. That's how much control he had on us boys. Whatever he said we'd do. I don't care what it was. So we go back to Florida. No baby in hand. And that's when he started getting real nervous.
You want him to ruin his family?
No, sir.
My father told me and Willie that we got to get rid of Joel. Because if not, he was going to go to the authorities about Skipper.
Go on a walk.
My father ordered Willie to take Joel out in the woods.
Man, let's go for a walk.
I was supposed to stay at the campground, but I followed him back into the woods. I'm standing behind this tree. I'm hiding, I'm scared to death. And then I heard... Man. I heard Joel scream. And that's all he got out was a scream. Willie had the noose around his head, around his neck. My father was standing back and was holding the gun up to my brother. And I told him, finish him or I'm gonna finish you.
Do it!
And Willie's crying, but Willie's doing what Willie was told. And then, after Joel was dead, my dad had me go back there and help Willie bury Joel. That was the end of it. Joel worshipped the ground Pixie walked on. I mean, he loved her to death. He never deserved it. He deserved a happy life. My parents were arrested for abduction of every charge. But no one knew about the deaths of Joel or Skipper. So when I was talking to the state prosecutor, at first, I was scared.
Just tell me what happened.
I don't know if I can do that.
It was like having a bird. This bird's, its whole life is in this cage. And then one day you just let it go.
Little Skipper's dead.
How did that happen?
I told him everything, and Pixie killed the baby. How Willie killed Joel. I told him everything, as far back as I can remember. I felt free.
What happened to the baby? Did you kill the baby? What happened to the child?
Did you kill your child?
Did you kill Joel? What happened with Joel? Come on, you can talk about it. What happened? Did you kill him?
My mom got charged with multiple counts of child abuse, fleeing the state of Ohio, aiding a known felon, abduction. I mean, they racked my mom with charges. I've never had anger for my mom. She wasn't an abuser. She did 22 years in prison for absolutely nothing, protecting her kids the best that she could.
Did you know your grandchild was dead?
No, I just found out about all of it today. Did you know any of this is going on?
Did you know your son-in-law was dead?
No, I didn't know about it today.
Who killed the baby? Who killed the baby?
I don't know! You're gonna have to talk to my son and my daughter. I don't know.
Did they kill the baby?
I don't know. I haven't seen anything else.
It's the first time I've seen Ellen. I don't know why she didn't tell the truth. I mean, she knew the baby was dead. She knew Joel was dead. That don't make any sense. That's something that's gonna bug me probably for the rest of my life. Why did she say that, I don't know why.
Did you tell your daughter to stop the baby crying, and did your daughter kill that child?
No, I did not tell my daughter to quit making the baby cry because I didn't even know it was crying that night.
Who killed the baby, Eddie? No one that I know of. What happened to the baby?
This lying bastard. I've never seen that video. When I first heard his voice, I got nervous for a second. But I got so much anger for that man, When my parents first got arrested, I'm out there by myself. and my world was lost. I was 18 years old, and I tried to commit suicide, and it didn't happen. And, the gun didn't go off. It was loaded, but it didn't go off. That right there told me that God has something out there for me. Maybe it's this interview. Maybe this interview will touch one person. Maybe it'll touch half the world. I'm 42 years old now, and I'm doing good. I'm married. I got a son and a daughter. And I couldn't even imagine something happening to one of my kids. Us Sexton kids, we're not Eddie Sexton. We might be, his children. But he's not. We're not him. He should have died a brutal death. Instead he dies in his sleep. And they say forgive. Forgive and forget. There's no way you can forgive. There's no way you can forget. It's not me. I cannot forgive that man. And I believe in God 100%. But I will not forgive Eddie Sexton. Ever. I'll take my last breath hating that man.